It's back to school time, but is your child on the bus? Nationwide, student absences are setting records. And as Kelsey Kernstein explains, it's keeping American children from making the grade.
Reading, writing, and arithmetic. Lessons learned in school. But you've got to go to learn them.
Every single day matters to be in school and to show up.
And many kids aren't. A recent report from Stanford shows during the 2021 and 2022 school year, more than a quarter of students missed at least 10% of school. Compare that to just 15% before the pandemic. The study found roughly 6.5 million more students were chronically absent, missing at least 18 days of school. And an estimated 240,000 of those students in a whopping 21 states are unaccounted for. They just went missing.
We really don't know what happened to those students. I wouldn't say they're dropping out, I would say it's more we've lost track of them because of the pandemic. Again, an unintended consequence of the pandemic.
And the chronic absences couldn't come at a worse time. Students were hit hard by COVID, many forced out of school and reduced to virtual classroom instruction, which for some was difficult without direct student-teacher interaction, poor computers, and unreliable Wi-Fi. But according to the National Education Association, chronic absenteeism is nothing new. Persistent issues such as unsafe schools, housing instability, illness, and even unreliable transportation contributed to the chronic absenteeism long before COVID.
It is a trickle-down effect that when students do not come to school, it affects everything, right? It affects how they do in school. It affects graduation rates. It affects the funding that they get. And so absenteeism is not a new issue. It is not. Again, it's just gotten worse since the pandemic.
The result? A nation of kids at least one grade level behind in one or more subjects and struggling to catch up. Chronic absenteeism is not helping. But the NEA says interventions such as engaging with families, strengthening student-teacher relations, schoolhouse services, and free meals can help.
We cannot continue to have this kind of absenteeism in school because if a child, the bottom line is, if a child doesn't come to school, they cannot learn. And so the goal is to make sure that kids are actually returning to school buildings, that are coming to school every day.
Kelsey Kernstein, NewsNation.
Well, interestingly, also on the rise, families opting out of traditional schools. Some estimates show homeschooling grew by 30% during the pandemic, impacting roughly 5% of current students. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.